Hello, everyone. I wanted to give a tutorial on our latest version of the editor inside of the lanterns.buzz website. So, just if you haven't seen the latest updates, this is going to be great for you because there's a lot of new features to the editor that I'd love to show you. So, first thing we got to do is you got to log in. And of course, in order to log in, you have to have credentials in order to be able to write. So if you do not have the credentials, make sure you get with your manager and so they can get you properly set up. So once you log in, and you're going to come to your profile, and you'll look for the link up here where it says My Stuff, and most likely all you'll see is My Profile underneath the My Stuff area, and you're going to look for Create New Post. So if you click that, it'll bring you to the editor, and it's visually it hasn't changed a whole lot lately, but there are some new buttons. So I'm going to go through the whole process to make sure you all get a good feel on how the latest version works, and we're going to go through all the different buttons and so forth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab a and I know that some of you actually write posts outside of the the editor. So, and some of you come from, pasting in from Word. So I'm going to show you a couple things to do here. Let me just go ahead and get a previous post, and bear with me here. I'm going to drag this off screen here and grab one of my old posts. And what I'm going to show you is how to paste it in, because the biggest thing here is the way this editor works. If you just paste it in generally, what'll happen is you'll get a lot of the stylings from whatever software you're using outside of the editor. So let's see here. Here is one for Saudi-Russian war. How about that one? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and copy this data out of Word. So I'm using Microsoft Word. And one of the ways you can do this, if you just paste it in here, it's not the best way to do it. I rather use this paste from Word link up top. And once you do that, you can just hit Control V, or you can right click and hit paste. All right. Now, what I like to do once I do this, just to make sure that there's no more stylings. So for instance, like if you're bolding and things like that, you want to do that inside of the editor. It just makes everything cleaner and eliminates any issues. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and highlight this whole post, and you can Control A, but this is typically the way most people do it. So we'll go ahead and copy all or highlight all of the post here, and I'm just going to come to this little place right here. It's called Remove Format. And that's just to make sure I click that and make sure it just clears out any of the content. Now, another thing that I like to do is once I'm starting to work in the body text, I like to use this feature. It's a maximize feature, and this is really, really great because I know a lot of you, when you scroll down, if you notice, all of these buttons disappear in the screen and you have to scroll back up. If you actually hit this maximize screen, it'll prevent you from having to do that, and it's really, really useful. Okay, so once you got this up to date, you got everything pasted in here, you'll notice there's still some links in here, and that's fine. That is from the Word document. And so what I like to do is I like to come back and I like to add my headings. So typically I like to use like the heading 5 is usually a good size. Here's another one, the Clinton Foundation, and try to eliminate as many of these spaces as possible, make it nice and clean. And let's see, here's some more headings down here. This really makes everything look nice and clean. I don't typically like to use colors and things like that. In fact, some of that may look funny on the website. So typically I like just simple black and white. The links are all going to highlight the proper colors that the website chooses. So okay, so once you get all of that done, now look, there's some tricks of the trade here that I'll share. Search engines typically like to look at posts that have a long viewership. In other words, people that have been on the post for a long time. And that doesn't necessarily mean you have to have a long post like this. This is a really, really long post. It's probably too long. And sometimes people won't read through the whole thing. But what does keep people attracted to your page or stay on your page longer is videos. So I'm going to show you how to paste in a video. And there's several ways to do this. And I'll show you both ways, but the easy way is to use YouTube and use this embed YouTube video. So I'm going to go to YouTube, and I'm just going to pick one for, I'm just going to do Clinton Foundation, see what pops up. Obviously, whatever you're posting, you want to make sure it's relevant to whatever your post is about. But we're just going to do this for the exercise. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this this video here, and I'm going to come down here to where it says share. Okay. And once you come to share, there's a couple of different links here, and you're going to want to use the embed option. And you're going to go ahead and highlight that. Okay, now this is the actual, there's a couple different ways. If you click this YouTube link right here, I'll show you. Actually, I want to go ahead and put a space where I want to put the video. So once you do that space, wherever your cursor is there, you come hit this YouTube link, and it's going to give you paste embed code here. Okay, the other way you can do it is you can actually paste the URL link, which is this link right here. To me, it's much easier just to use this. And what's neat is you can actually control, there's a couple ways you can change the size. If you notice right here, inside of the code, there is a width attribute right here, and you can change the width of that. 560 is probably okay, but if you wanted to mess with that and change it, you could. Just remember that you want to try to constrain the pop properties as best as well. So if you go wider, you're going to want to go higher as well. If you paste the URL, let's try that. I'm going to go ahead and delete this out. And if you just copy the URL, you can actually change the width and height properties right here. And these are in pixels. So let's see here. I'm not going to mess with any of these. You could make it autoplay, but really, quite honestly, you want to give the user that's reading your post the opportunity to click play. So, and you can also put start at a certain time. So if you wanted to maybe have the video start at 2 minutes and 32 seconds, you can put 2 minutes and 32 seconds here. I'm not going to do that here. You're going to have to experiment with this a little bit, and I'm going to show you how you do that. So once you get this in here, you hit OK, and it's going to show you, there it is. There's your video. Okay. Another thing you want to do is you do want to add pictures, and quite honestly, the more pictures, the better, but you do want to make sure they're relevant and they're good quality pictures. Typically, the website is going to handle pictures about 600 pixels wide is the smallest width picture that you're going to want to use. There's a really, really nice feature for adding pictures. We really like you to put the pictures on the site, on the website, or upload it to the website rather than using external pictures. Because if you use, for instance, you go to another website and you grab the URL for that image and you use that, and all of a sudden that website takes that image down, it'll cause a problem on the website. So I'm going to go ahead and add a picture here. I'll show you how to do it. So come to the end of this paragraph right here, and I'm going to hit enter. It's give me a nice little space there. And then I'm going to go to this nice little file manager here. It's actually next to that minimize or maximize feature. And I'm going to go ahead and click this, and it's going to give me this window that pops up, and it's going to give me a file manager. So and all you got to do is really just, once you get all the pictures chosen, I'll show you how to actually choose a picture. So I'm going to open up another browser window here, and I'm just going to do a picture of Hillary Clinton, since this post is about her. And I'm going to go to images, and I'm just using the Google browser. And here's a good picture. I'm going to go ahead and I click on the picture there, and I'm just going to right click here, and I'm going to hit Save Image As. Typically what I like to do, I like to save them in my Downloads folder. That way I can clean them out regularly. That way I'm not clogging my computer up. And the Downloads folder is typically a temporary folder anyway on your computer. All right, so once you download that onto your computer, you're going to come to this Upload File section right here. And just click that. And it's going to give you a little drop down. It's going to say Choose a File. If you click that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my Downloads folder, and I'm going to look for that picture that I just uploaded or downloaded. There it is. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. It shows that the image is there, and then I'm going to upload. And now that it's uploaded, it's here. Let's go ahead and attach that image inside of the blog post here. It's really easy. All you do is click it, and it's going to give you 3 different size options. I never really use these 2 smaller sizes. I always use the full size. So once I click that, you'll see it. And once you're in this maximize screen here, these pictures are going to look a little bit weird. Some of them are going to be really big. Some of them are going to be smaller. But once you post the article, it's all going to work out great. So let's pick up another one. Let's maybe, since this one's about Syria, I'm going to go ahead and find another picture of Syrian war. Let's see if we can find something that may be somewhat intriguing here. There's some horrific pictures here, but here's a picture. So I'm going to go ahead and save this picture. And if you notice, it's downloading. I'm using Google Chrome. Google Chrome works really well with lanterns. So if you all are looking for a good browser, Google Chrome is really, really good. All right, so now that I have that one downloaded, I have my cursor here. I put a space. I'll show you how I did that. I went to the end of the paragraph, and I hit Enter. Gives me a space. I'm going to go to the File Manager again. I'm going to click Upload. I'm going to choose that file. Okay, clicked on it there, hit Open, and hit Upload. And it's going to go ahead and upload that to the server. And there we are. I'm going to hit it full size again. Now, if you notice, this one goes way over here, but it's all going to go in line once we go to post everything. I'll show you how that looks. All right, and so I'm not going to do any more pictures. You kind of get the point. There's a couple things you can do. Let's say, for instance, you wanted to remove a picture. You can just click behind the picture like this and hit backspace. Let's see if that works. Maybe not. Highlight the picture and hit delete. There you go. And then you can always replace it with another picture. I'm just going to go ahead and put the same picture back up. And what's really neat is if you upload all your photos in here, all you got to do is come back in here and do that. I wouldn't really recommend doing the resize here. I really recommend that because what's going to happen is if you resize it, it's automatically going to put it to the width of the actual web page. So it's pretty much a meaningless thing there. Okay, so let's look at some other features. So you can actually insert tweetable text. For instance, let's say we wanted to make this to where you could tweet this. This is pretty neat. If you click tweetable text, and let's see here, I'm going to copy that. It's been a while since I used this. So let's see, display text, see what it does. Tweetable text can't be empty. Let's try that. There we go. Okay, so what happens is if somebody clicks on this, it's like kind of like a hyperlink. It'll go to Twitter and it'll give them the textable content, which is pretty neat. Let's see here. We'll look at some other ones. So the iframes, they tend to be a little bit more difficult, and it just really depends on the type of content you're using. Typically, the way that I like to do iframes is a little bit differently. I do like to use the source code, and I know a lot of you all out there are not coders like me. I'm a programmer, so I typically I'm very I can do the iframes easier than many of you because of the fact that I'm not scared of the code, right? So the way that you do it in the source code, I'm just going to show you here. And if you ever need help doing this, maybe the editors can help you do this. But the iframes are a little difficult. And typically what you're using for iframes is like a Spreaker audio. So like if you go to one of our podcasts for one of the broadcasters, I'll go to our Spreaker page. Hopefully all of you been to our Spreaker page. We got a lot of content. So I'm going to go pick up one of my shows. Let's see here. Wow, our bloggers or broadcasters have been really busy. All right, so I'm going to go here. This is a podcast that I did called The Old Tired Media is Dead. So once I clicked on that, it gives me this embed option. And if you click that, it will give you some options here. Now, typically, what Spreaker does is it gives you this code, which is actually not an iframe. It's an anchor tag, which is more, typically like a hyperlink. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually change this to iframe just to kind of show you how the iframes work. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that, and they actually make it easy where you just click this little button. So I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to hit a space behind this. Now, This is a little bit technical, so stick with me. If you get a little bit confused, it really is not that. It's really not that difficult. But when you come up here to the upper left-hand corner, you'll see where it says source. Now this is going to be going like this is kind of like popping the hood of the car. Okay. So if you click that right there, you'll notice that, and I got to fix the where you can actually read this better, but you'll notice that what you're going to see here is you may see some things that look a little strange to you. For instance, like you'll see these P's with brackets around it, or less than and greater than symbols. That's a paragraph tag. What I'm looking for is the space that I put, and that is right here. This is what when you enter after a paragraph, that's what it looks like. It's got a paragraph tag in the beginning, a closed paragraph tag in the end, and it's got this little ampersand NBSP colon or semicolon. Little technical, but all you got to do is just get rid of that altogether and paste your iframe code in here. And if you notice, there's your iframe code. Don't worry about what it all means. It's code, and it'll just confuse you. Just know that you just got to paste it over that code. I'm just going to show you what it looks like one more time. So when you put that paragraph space in there, it's going to be a little paragraph tag in the beginning, a little paragraph tag in the end, with a space in the middle. This is code for space. And you're just going to replace that. Okay, so that's your iframe. I'm going to go back to the source code button. I'm going to close it back out. So now I'll close the hood, and there it is. There's the iframe. And you're not going to be able to see the video when you do that. Let me see if I can do it with the other way, because sometimes this is a little finicky. But I'm going to go back to this space here, and I'm going to click the iframe link here, or little button, and it's going to give me a URL. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. So on this particular one, the URL, let's see if I can do it from a YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and copy this YouTube link here, this URL. And I'm going to paste it in here and see if it actually works. Now, obviously, you're not going to want to use this for the URL, the YouTube videos, because you have a YouTube feature already, and that's much easier. This one, I'm going to go ahead and put the width as 600, and I'll use 400 as the height. Don't worry about the alignment. It's going to do that for you. And that's pretty much all I do when I hit enter. And there's your iframe. Okay? All right, let's see what other features we got. All right, how about, let's see, insert page break. I don't use that. Insert special characters. This is if you wanted to actually use some of these special characters. I don't use that either, but if you needed to, this is where you'd find it. Horizontal line. You can do that, but typically it does break away from the website's stylings. But you could, if you wanted to, you just hit a space there, and then you could hit insert a horizontal line, and you notice that gives you a horizontal line. And you may decide to do that for formatting purposes to break your article up in whatever way you wish. You can add tables in here, like for instance, like an Excel type of table. Just know that when you do that, things do change a little bit, and you can add things in your table, and it just sometimes it doesn't look very well, but it is available to you, and you can play around with it and test it as you will. We're not going to do that for this particular instant, because that's rare that you ever use tables, but we're going to go ahead and delete that out. Okay. All right, let's see what else we have. Flash, I don't really use that. That really gets complicated. I'd rather you not. Images, you can do an image if you want to do from an external URL, but I don't recommend that either, because if the website loses, if the let's see, we'll use Bill Clinton here. I know y'all love Bill Clinton. Ooh, Bill Clinton AIDS, go figure. We're gonna find a picture of good old BJ. Let's see here if I can get this thing to go away. There we go. All right, Bill Jefferson Clinton. Here we go. So let's take this beautiful picture right here, and we're gonna look for the URL. We're gonna copy the URL. So if you notice, it'll say, let's see, where is it? Copy link address. There we go. And then you're going to come back here, And we'll just, you shouldn't have to do the size, but let's see what it does here. It didn't work, did it? Let's try it one more time. Going to copy the URL. I thought it was a different comment. Oh, I'm sorry. I clicked the wrong way. That's the link address. You want to copy the image address. That's what I did incorrectly. Let's try that again. So I paste that, hit OK. There it is. Whew, he's got something going on there. All right. So we got the image up there. You can put anchors in here. I'm not going to cover anchors here. This is basically an anchor is like, for instance, if you put a link up top and you want somebody to be able to jump down to a lower place. If you want to learn how to do anchors, you really do have to look at HTML to show how that works. I'm not going to go through that on this particular one here. Links. Links are really easy. So let's say, for instance, you wanted to use this article here as a link from Politico. All you would do is you'd copy the URL. And by the way, I recommend using as many links as possible. You want to make sure you're citing your work. So let's say, for instance, I want to go ahead and I got Hillary Clinton. We've got an article that we're talking about something from Hillary Clinton, and we want to use the cite this particular article. You can highlight it and just come to the link here and open that. Okay. And give it a second here. It's loading. And it's taking a moment. There we go. All right, so what you're going to do, you're going to notice the display text is Hillary Clinton. It is a URL, and the protocol, you can just leave that alone. Just paste in the URL here. And this is what I really, really, truly recommend, that you come here into the target, and you want to make sure this is blank. New window blank. Okay, now what that does is when the user clicks your link, it's going to send them to a new tab. It's not going to close out your article. You don't want them to leave your article. So when you put it as a blank or a new window, it'll actually open up a new tab for them. Okay, so basically, if you had to go back and change or edit the URL that you put in here, you could just highlight that again and just hit this link right here, and it'll give you the ability to change any of the content in here. Okay. All right, so aligning your post. I personally like to left align everything. I don't like to justify. There's some writers that do like to do this. At some point, we're going to come up with a standard. In fact, we're going to be doing that real soon. Until then, if you all want to justify your article to the center, you can do that by highlighting all your text, and then you can click this right here. It will justify, but it will add some goofy spaces in between your text. That's why I don't typically like it, and even like the New York Times and your big organizations, they do left justify or left align. Okay, this is the one I really like. I love putting quotes in my article. It really makes the article look dynamic. I'm just going to take this paragraph here and I'm going to make it like a quote. So if you're quoting another person, I always like to put at the end, if it was Thomas Jefferson, and then on, 1795, say, or something to that effect, and then you're going to highlight this whole box of text, and then you're going to come up here, and you're going to see this little block quote. You see where it says block quote? And when you do that, when you click that, it's going to put everything in a block quote here. This really makes things look nice and dynamic, moves things around on the page for you, and it really does make the post look really, really good. Okay. You can indent your articles if you wish. If you just click that and indent, I don't know actually how it shows up on the page, but if you want to try that, I don't recommend it. I don't think it serves much of a purpose. In fact, if you're quoting something, typically you're going to use the block quote anyway. Let's see. You can put bullet point lists. So let's say, for instance, we had a bullet point. Let's see. I wanted to do bullet 1, bullet 2. Ooh, I can't spell. And bullet 3. And you just highlight all 3 bullets, and then you come up here and you can put the bullet points. You can also do numbers if you wish. Bullet points typically is what I like. I like that better. Okay, what else do we have? I don't usually use this. I do use the remove formatting. That is something that I do after every paste because I want to start from scratch. So I would recommend that you don't do formatting in your external document editor that you're using. So if you're using Word or you're using something on Apple, I would recommend that you do all your formatting in this post because all that formatting is going to be messed up if you don't just go in with raw content into here. If you wanted to copy formatting, I don't recommend that, but that's basically what that button is. You can do strike throughs, underline, italics, and bold. Sometimes when you do italics and bold, things look a little funny, so make sure you're checking all of your content when you're finished. Also, I'm looking at a way of trying to get this to do it automatically, but the way that this the autocorrect for spelling, you have to activate it. In fact, I usually do that first. I just enable, if you notice this, enable SCAYT, which is the spell checker. And you can come through your post here, and you'll see if you have something spelled incorrectly. Like here's ratcheted. If I right-click on that, it'll change if you just right-click on it and then select what you want to change it to. And it's standard. It's standard. Look, I spelled Gorbachev wrong. Go figure. And so you can go through your article and just look for those little red underlines. If you do this at first and it doesn't show up properly, like you don't see any of the reds, make sure that you type something or do some spaces because sometimes it does hang up a little bit. But you're just going to want to make sure you go through your article and help your editors out because they are going to check this stuff and they love you, but they'll be aggravated with you if you don't check your spelling. Let's see what else. You can do a select all. Actually, I didn't know that feature was there. How about that? I learned something new myself. And you can also find content. I usually use the browser Control F, and then I can do that as well to find. Paste from Word, paste as plain text. I really like that as well. You can do that. In fact, if you do it from Word, you'll get some formatting in here. So using as paste as plain text works just as well. In fact, I probably rather use that. Templates, do not use templates. Don't use print for the most part. Preview, you can use preview, but it's not going to look the same as in the website. So that's kind of a feature that I'm going to work on at some point, so where you can do it before you actually have to post, and you can do undo if you wanted to undo. So that's pretty much the breadth of the editor. Text color, I don't recommend it. Don't do background color because it will not stick. If you all want to put a tweet in here, this is always what people have asked to put tweets in articles. And this one's one of those little funny things that is a little trick to it that you can make it. There's an easy way to do it and a harder way to do it. The harder way to do it, I'll show you real briefly. If you go to Twitter and you find your tweet that you want to post, let's say it's this video that I want to type in here, and I want to hit embed tweet. It's going to give me this code here. It's block quote code. Just going to go ahead and Control C, or I could hit right click and copy. And I'm going to go back to my article and I'm going to find out where I want to put it. Now, once again, this is the harder way to do it. So I will show you the easier way, but it's always good to learn the harder way, or at least see the harder way, and that way you know there's multiple ways to do this. I'm going to put a space here, and you remember what the space looks like in the code, as I told you earlier. We're going to look for that. So I'm going to go to source, and it's right here. And I'm just going to replace the text that I had with the tweet embed code. So I'm going to hit right click and paste, or I can hit Control V. And there is the Twitter embed. Don't forget to close out the source code. You got to be very careful when you pop open the hood of the car, right? It's the same thing with the source code. You want to be very careful when you're playing around in here, because things can get a little shaky if you start. You'll see all kind of weird stuff happen. So just be very careful when you're in there. Okay, so there's the tweet. And if you notice, it doesn't look like a tweet in here, which is fine. I'm going to see if preview actually shows that. Yep, there it is. You can actually preview it and see it if you wanted to. So there's your tweet here with the video, right? And let me tell you, if you put videos and things like that in your post, it is going to make people stay on your post. And it really, really is a benefit for your post. All right, so now I'm pretty comfortable with where my post is at this point. I'm going to go ahead and minimize this now. It'll bring me back to the web page, back down to reality. And you always want to pick a really good title. I'm just going to put Clinton's in Syria, which is probably a crappy title, but we're just going to use this for an example. Clinton's in Syria. All right. Now, this is very, very important. If you notice, if you scroll down to the bottom of the article, you're going to notice there's no submit button. And I get people ask me all the time, Chris, I cannot submit yet. What's going on? Well, there's some hints right under here. And he says, did you add a title? Well, yes, I just did. Did you upload a photo? Uh-oh, no, I didn't. So I'm going to scroll up here, and you'll notice right here, it says blog post photo. So I'm just going to pick one that I have in my little library of pictures here. I'm going to click this. You can actually drag it if you want, but I'm going to go ahead and click it, and I'm going to use the picture that I actually use in there. If you notice, there's going to be 3 buttons right here. It's actually pretty neat. You'll notice you have upload, edit, and trash, right? I do kind of want to hit this one, but we're using this picture as an example. All right, so I hit edit, and I can actually crop this picture. I don't recommend changing this size because you're going to want to make sure that your picture is as wide as you can. It gives you the best clarity. But I can move this picture around, and I'm going to go ahead and confirm that picture there. That does look better. And then I'm going to upload this picture. There it is. It's saved. You want to see that. If you don't see that, you won't see this button down here. Oh, it's still not there. Well, did you select a category and subcategory? Well, no, I didn't. There it is. So, category and subcategory. Select a category for your article. So I'm going to go ahead and select this one as news. And you can do a subcategory as well. I'm going to go ahead and put world. Now, don't abuse this because this is something that's really important. Our editors work really hard all day. And if you pick breaking, it better be a breaking news article. They will not be happy if you're sending them an article that's not breaking news. So make sure that you are only doing breaking news that is something that is time sensitive. If you notice that, time sensitive. Publish settings, most likely you'll just have 2 different ones. I like to save first, okay? You won't have this unless you're an editor, okay? You'll have to save it or you can submit it to the editor. I recommend all the time save your article first and see what it looks like before you submit it to the editor. Because once you send it to the editor, you can't edit it. Okay? You're not going to have a syndication feature. If you are an editor, you can pick syndication here. Featured article. This is also an editor function. And you can put a submit a post at a later date or publish at a later date. This is for articles, say for instance that you want to release at a future time. You can put the date and time here. I'm not going to do that for this article. But as you notice now, I have my submit post. I just want to go look and make sure everything looks good. Everything looks good. And note, if you remember right, I'm going to save this. I'm not publishing it or I'm not sending it to the editor. So I'm just going to check. It says save a draft. Do not submit to the editor. Make sure once you submit that to the editor, you're going to have to get in touch with your editor to actually go back in it. And you won't see it until it's published. So I'm going to go ahead and save it first. All right, there it is. You have successfully added a blog post. It has been saved. Note that it is not, well, it basically tells you that it has not been sent to the editor. All right, so now I can look at the post and see what it actually looks like in here. It looks like this iframe's not showing up. See that? Let's look and see what else everything else looks like. That's showing up. This is the iframe from the show. That must have been the YouTube. The YouTube video didn't show up. So here's all the pictures. There's the tweet. Everything looks good. These bullet points, you see this little space right here? I don't really like that. I'm going to go change that. And in this one, I think when I added that table, you see what it did? It kind of made things a little funny here. I'm going to try to fix that. Maybe you want to put a space here too. So that's kind of like what I like to do. Oh, look, I didn't put a heading here. I'm going to go add that too. So I'm kind of looking through this to see what it looks like on the website. Ah, look at this. This is a Spreaker embed that didn't show up. Okay, so I'm noticing some things here that I need to go back and fix. All right, let's go back and fix some of them real quick. Scroll to the top. And there should be an edit link that shows you that it's saved. I'm going to go ahead and hit edit. I'm going to go back in it. Now, what I want to do... Oh, by the way, there is an autosave feature. Let's say, for instance, you accidentally close your browser and you're like, uh-oh, I think I lost everything. This will give you the option, if you hit OK, will give you the option to see right here. And you just got to look. This is a little bit complicated, but you got to read it here. It says auto-saved content from June 4th, 6:05 p.m. It's 6:11 right now. So if you want to do that, you can save it or reload that content. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, and I don't know how to close this thing here. Hold on here. Typically, it doesn't do this. Why is it not letting me? There we go. All right, so what I had to do to get this X over here. I don't like that. I'm gonna have to look and see how to fix that. Okay, so basically, if you wanted to reload that content, it will reload everything from a previous spot if you accidentally close this window out, if you hit this X by accident. Okay, so let's clean this thing up a little bit. This video didn't show up. I want to delete this, and I'm gonna try to redo that video. So I'm gonna go back to YouTube. And instead of doing the URL, because that may be where the problem was, excuse me, I had to sneeze. I'm going to go back and use this embed code. And I'm going to copy that embed code. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go to my YouTube link. And I'm going to paste in my embed code here. And I'm going to hit OK. There it is. All right. I don't know why it didn't show up. It showed up earlier. Okay. So let's go. Let's see what other things I saw. Remember this kind of looked funny? I'm going to put a space here because I think that one... Ooh. Let me expand this because I don't like scrolling up. Okay. Let's see here. Get rid of this. Okay. So we'll see how that looks. Put a space. Oop. I don't want to do that. All right. And I'm going to scroll down here. I know I missed a heading somewhere. Where did I miss it? I know y'all saw it and I didn't see it, did I? Oh, this is that Spreaker embed. We'll fix that one in a second. Let's try to find that heading. Oh, here it is. See that? All right. All right. So let's see if we could. This is a flashback from a video I did. Let's see if I did it as an iframe. It's not. Well, I'm just going to delete that out. I showed y'all how to do the iframes earlier. Okay. So now that all that's in there, I'm going to go ahead and minimize that again. And I'm going to, and if I wanted to do another picture, I could, but I like the picture. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to hit submit post and see what it does. It's still going to leave it as saved. Close this out. I'm just going to scroll through and make sure everything looks good. So I think you get the point. And then once you see, there's your horizontal line you added. So once you get to the post to where you want it to be, then all you have to do, and I'm not going to do it for this go around because this is a post that I don't want to publish on the website, but I'm going to hit cancel here because I don't want the previous version to pop up. All you do is you change this to submit post to the editor for publishing. Now, once you do this and you submit this, you will not be able to go back in it. The editor is going to be emailed. It'll be in their queue. They'll edit it, and as soon as they're finished editing it, you will receive an email, which is a new feature we added. In fact, not only do you receive an email, but so a bunch of other people that could be sharing this for you. So once you do that, keep an eye out for that email. When you get the email to you, it will look similar. Let's see if I can find my email, and I'll show you what they look like when you get it. And it's a pretty neat feature. I'll go to my Lanterns Gmail. You'll get a post that looks like this, and it'll say click here to share on Facebook and click here to share on Twitter. Don't hesitate to do this because this is really, really helpful. And then if it pops up without a picture, just close it, leave, and then do it again and watch. There you go. All right. And hit post. We'll go ahead and share that one. I'm going to share it to the Lanterns page. Ooh. Oh, I wanted to show you one other thing too. About the tweet. How to do it the easy way. I showed you the hard way and didn't show you the easy way. So let's say that I take this code and from the Twitter, and let's say I just post it in here, paste it right in. What's going to happen, it's not going to work on the first paste. It's gonna go in like block code. All right, now watch what happens. I'm going to go ahead and down here to the bottom, and I'm going to save as a draft. And you're going to see it when you post it. It's going to come up as code. Let me close this. You'll notice that it's code down here. Where'd it go? There it is. You see this block quote code? All right, now watch this. I'm going to go back and edit this. And you can do this with all your tweets. You paste all your tweets in. And if you come back in, it's really weird how it does this. Just hit submit again. Make sure it's saved so you can go back in it if you need to. This is a little trick. Hopefully it works. There it is. See that? And look, you see these spaces down here? I do recommend you really work in your post to make sure everything looks good. The editors will help you with that, but I'd much rather keep the editors moving along. So if you could, just do your best to do all of your editing up front. That way you can make it a lot easier life on the editors, because believe me, you want your editors on your side. They do a really, really great job, and they work really, really hard. And the best thing you can do is do as much editing on your end so they have less work so they can go work with others. And believe me, if you have an editor that likes your work, they will be much happier to read it than if you are giving them a hard time. So thank you for your patience. And as we grow this particular feature, we'll be releasing new videos to show you how the particular features are going to impact you. So thank you for watching this, and we'll have more to come.